Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it.
U.S. President Donald Trump reiterating his stand that the Nigerian government must stop the killings of Christians and other Nigerians. And he's right. Before he talked about this, no foreign leader ever talked about it. They continue to pretend as if they don't see what is happening in Nigeria, just based on the fact that diplomacy calls that you do not interfere with another country's internal crisis. But we are talking about human lives here. Nigerian leaders are very heartless. They don't care about anyone except themselves. There are thousands have died the past few years in Nigeria. They are not bothered about that. They are not even bothered about millions of Nigerians who are displaced within their own country, living in IDP camps, in a country that is not at war. They are not bothered. Once they drive around in their motorcades, guarded and protected by a battalion of the army, they don't care about the ordinary man. So it's laughable for people to expect that they will do the right thing. They don't want to do anything. It's an intentional incompetence. They don't want to stop them because they have an agenda. All of them, including the terrorists, including the politicians, they all have their own agenda. And it's very heartbreaking that US lawmakers dedicated hours in a hearing talking about insecurity in Nigeria, talking about the killings in Nigeria, while our lawmakers only discuss people decamping to APC. They never discuss anything that will benefit Nigerians. All the laws they pass are always at the detriment of Nigerians. Take for instance the tax law they passed. They cannot account for all the borrowings, billions of dollars that Tinubu has borrowed since he came to power. In less than 3 years, he has borrowed more than Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammad Buhari combined. They cannot account for all this, and now they want to tax Nigerians more. If they couldn't account for all their expenditure, all the borrowings, all the budget, trillions of naira they've been spending all along, how are they going to account for the new tax revenue? Now, as Donald Trump continues to hold the Nigerian government to account, more world leaders are now joining in speaking up for Nigerians. The latest one to join is the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. Writing on her verified Facebook page, she said, "We strongly condemn the renewed violence against Christian communities in Nigeria today. Religious freedom is an inalienable right. We call on the Nigerian government to strengthen the protection of Christian communities and all religious communities and prosecute those responsible for this heinous attack." Italy expresses its closeness to the victims and communities in Nigeria that today feel in danger because of their religious beliefs. Like already said, if Donald Trump didn't talk about what was happening in Nigeria and continues to happen, maybe the Italian Prime Minister wouldn't have said anything. She would have minded her business. But here we are, she's now talking about it. Maybe other world leaders in Europe might start talking about it, openly condemning it, because we are talking about human lives here. We are talking about people dying every day. We are talking about millions displaced, almost like it's now permanent. Most of them have lived in IDP camps for several years. They can't recognize their homes anymore. Some of them, their homes are occupied by foreigners. Can you imagine this? And with all this happening, the Nigerian politicians are busy celebrating other politicians joining their party. They are not even ashamed. So every Nigerian must appreciate this, except that person is an apologist of Tinubu and APC or a terrorist apologist. Let's even go by their narrative that no one is targeted, that all sides are suffering the same thing, all Nigerians are being targeted. Why would anyone be angry that the US president wants to help Nigerians to solve the security challenges, to go after the terrorists that are killing everyone? Why should anyone be genuinely angry about it? That person must be an apologist to them. It's been a horrible week in Nigeria. Hundreds of children have been kidnapped in their schools, including their teachers, which has necessitated the closure of many schools across many states in the north. Even the federal government shut down unity schools across the country. So you can see the violence is escalating, it is not going down. Despite the threat by the US of a possible invasion in Nigeria, these guys are audaciously conquering new grounds. This one happened yesterday in Ogun State. They are much closer to the economic capital of Nigeria, more than many people think. Many people in the south or other parts of the country feel that they are not affected by this, but they are spreading. As a matter of fact, they are everywhere. In most southern states, they are in sleeper cells. They pretend as if they don't know what is happening. Maybe they are waiting for an order to strike. Now, part of the horrible thing that happened in Nigeria this week was the sentencing to life of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB. Well, whether you like him or not, whether you like his rhetoric, the way he talks, the way he conducts his business, you can't help but see the double standards in what happened that day. The most laughable part of the judgment that the judge handed down that day was the fact that Nnamdi Kanu was the mastermind of NSAS protest in 2020. Any Nigerian that is up to 15 years old today can attest that Nnamdi Kanu never had anything to do with NSAS protests. Yes, you might argue that he posted a video, incited people to go out and protest and do many things, but mentioning in the judgment that he was the mastermind of NSAS protest is simply an outright lie. It's not based on reality at all. We all know what provoked the NSAS protests and where it started. Many people feel it started in Lagos. No, it started in Delta State before it spread across the country, especially most parts of the south. So saying that Nnamdi Kanu caused that, maybe they are living in an alternate reality. So that's why you will see that there is some sort of vengeance going on behind the scenes. During that protest or any other protest at all, you will always notice one thing, that people in Lagos always go after Tinubu's properties. TVC news station was attacked during that protest. Of course, you know that Tinubu owns TVC and some other properties. This is simply because they have no other way to extract that vengeance from him. People in Lagos know that Tinubu, through his company Alpha Beta, earns billions of naira from Lagos at the detriment of the residents. So the only way they can get back at him and extract that vengeance is to always attack whatever they feel he owns in Lagos whenever the opportunity arises. That was exactly what happened during the NSAS protest. So somehow, if you look at it critically, you will see what is going on here. You incited people to go and attack, go out and protest. Now you will spend your life in prison. And that prison is in faraway Sokoto State, in the northwest part of Nigeria, where terrorists are rampant, running around everywhere. So this shows that anything can happen to him in that prison. His life is in serious danger. And to think that the prosecutor actually asked the judge for a death sentence, only for the judge to end up handing down a life sentence. Now look at the double standards. An ISWAP leader was jailed for 20 years. According to evidence, he is a full-blown terrorist. That's people that have killed people, done all sorts of things, maybe even killed our boys in the army or police, but he was given only 20 years. Now, let's compare the two of them. When you place Kanu on the right side and place the ISWAP leader on the left, you will see that Kanu is actually a saint. Not that he is completely innocent, no. His rhetoric and all he did caused the deaths of many innocent people, especially in the southeast. Criminals capitalized on his rhetoric. He incited a lot of people to do things that they were not supposed to do. And when you look back at what happened during the days, you will see that it never made any sense that he was claiming that he wanted to save some people or Igbo people while causing harm to them at the same time. It never made any sense. How can you claim you want to save some people and what you're saying and doing is bringing the opposite to these people? But despite all that happened, what Kanu did, when you look at what happened on that day in court, you will see that it wasn't a judgment that was delivered, they only delivered vengeance. Nigerian government has never put up such an effort against terrorists who actually kill people, who massacre Nigerians on a daily basis. They've never put up such an effort. But the Nigerian government under Muhammadu Buhari had to go as far as Kenya to arrest Kanu and fly him back to Nigeria, just to prove to him, hey, you can't just insult us and do this, we won't allow you to go free. That was why they did all that. If they put up this kind of effort that they put up against Kanu on all the people actually terrorizing Nigerians, Nigeria will be a better place. Nigeria will be a more secure country. We don't have this massive food inflation. Many farmers will still be farming in their lands peacefully. But no, they will never do that because they are complicit in what is happening in Nigeria. And like Rep. Riley said in reaction to the hundreds of children kidnapped in a Catholic school, enough is enough. It is time to stop talking. It is time to take action. Thanks for watching.